Yo, what is going on, GZTV gang? It is your boy himself, GZTV. I don't know why I messed the intro up, but we are back with another video, and we are on Sports Talk Monday, where we talk NBA, where we talk NFL, and we are starting, obviously, with NBA. Every Monday, we have recaps. We give you guys the top 25 players in the league right now, and kind of talk about how each of their teams are doing right now. What am I trying to say? I don't know. Let's just get straight in the list. We have a lot of people to go through. At number 25 of the Houston Rockets, we have Christian Wood, undoubtedly the best player on the freaking Rockets. He's a beast. Really good player. I'm not going to look through their game logs as much anymore, but the team, I mean, they are a 1-9 team, but he is playing at an all-star level. Only put 4-4-1 the last game. Not the best there, but in the Nuggets game where they only lost by one, Christian Wood put up 12, 17, and 2. Really good stat line for that. Should I go through their game logs? I think I will, just because, I don't know. They lost by 12 to the Suns, and Christian Wood had 18, 15, and 5. So, he's a double-double machine almost every night. Yeah, I think that's the only games they played. No, they lost to the Lakers by merely 2 points, and Christian Wood had 26, 16, and 3, which really solidified his spot. Anyways, moving on to number 24, we have CJ McCollum. Crazy enough, CJ McCollum is the best player on the Trailblazers right now with a struggling Damian Lillard. I think CJ McCollum's definitely proven himself to be a really good basketball player. They are currently 3-4. They are a losing team, but that is mainly because of Damian Lillard. I mean, they lost to a Philadelphia team without Simmons, without Embiid. Lillard had 20 and 10, but CJ McCollum had 23 and 4. I mean, Lillard had the better game there, but I mean, McCollum's doing good. They lost by 3 to a Cleveland team that's doing really well, and CJ McCollum had 21, 6, and 7 in that game. They beat the Pacers on Friday, and CJ McCollum, he had 27, 6, and 5. Really good game there. Did they play Sunday? I'm not sure if they did. I think that's all they played this week. No, they had a back-to-back. They beat the Lakers by 15. CJ McCollum only had 7, 5, and 5, but every game but one game, he scored 20-plus points. He is proving to be a really good scorer. That was kind of Damian Lillard's game there, but Damian Lillard isn't consistent enough to be an all-star player just yet. But at 23, this guy is continually on the rise of the Raptors. The best player on the Raptors is OG Anunoby. If you look at the Raptors, or no, he's not the best player on the Raptors. We still have someone. I cannot. Why did I say that? Okay. They lost to a Nets team who continues to improve. On Sunday, they lost to them by 13. Look at what OG Anunoby did. He went 16, 3, and 8, and I'm pretty sure on the defensive end, he is one of the best defensive players in the league, so that helps him a lot. They played Friday, lost to the Cavs by 1, and by the way, the Raptors are 6 and 5, so they're doing really good this year compared to last year. OG Anunoby had 23, 5, and 6. Really good game for him there. I love OG Anunoby. I've always been a fan of him. Not since his career started, but yeah. They beat the Wizards by 9. The Wizards are also a team that's doing pretty good, and OG Anunoby had 21, 1, and 5. Good game for him there as well. Let's see here. They play Monday as well. Yep, they beat the Knicks by 9. The Knicks are another good team, and they won there. OG Anunoby, 36, 2, and 6. That's what really solidified himself. He is an all-star player right now, no doubt. But anyways, at number 22, this guy's had a big fall-off recently. I mean, the Warriors are really good. He is still the best player on the Warriors. It is Steph Curry, but honestly, he hasn't even had to play at a high level, but he is still an all-star. I still consider him to be an all-star. It is Steph Curry, of course. Looking at their games from last week, I'm trying to figure out when they played. I can't figure out when they played. Okay. Against the Hornets, I mean, Curry had 15, 9, and 8. Not a bad stat line. I mean, they beat them by 22, so he doesn't really have to do much. anymore. Jordan Poole's starting to play good. Obviously, Curry's better than Jordan Poole. And look, they destroyed the Pelicans. And all Curry had to do was go out there and score 19 points, pass for 6 assists, and get 3 boards. That's all he had to do. And that's the only reason he's not as high as he usually is, because they played a really easy schedule. And yeah, they played the Rockets. They won by 13 that time. And I mean, Curry had 22 and 3, which isn't the best for Curry, but if you get a win, you get a win. But anyways, coming in at number 21, the sidekick of the Brooklyn Nets, we have James Harden. James Harden has been improving steadily. Not having his best season, by far not his best season, but he's helping the Nets get wins, so that's respectable. They beat the Hawks by 9, and James Harden had 16, 11, and 4. I mean, he's been getting a couple of triple doubles this year. They played on Friday, I believe. They beat the Pistons by 6, and James Harden had 13, 10, and 10, so there's a triple double there. The Nets played the Raptors on Sunday, beat them by 13. James Harden had 28, 10, and 8, so that's really the one game that he had that really put him up here. So congratulations to James Harden for playing as an all-star, even under one of the best players in the league in Kevin Durant, and we will get to him. But anyways, at number 20, I believe he is now the best player on the Bulls. I can now say that confidently. It is DeMar DeRozan. And the Nets, I think, are 7-3, by the way. I need to go through their records as well. Looking at the Bulls beat my Celtics by 14. A terrible choke by my team. But DeRozan had 37, 2, and 6. He's playing at a high level. Great stuff there. Bulls lost to the Sixers by 5, and they didn't have Simmons. But DeRozan had 37, 10, and 1. He's playing at a very high level. Congratulations to him. I mean, he's playing great basketball. Saturday, they lost to the Sixers. They played the Sixers twice and lost to them twice. But DeRozan still had 25, 4, and 4. Really good player. I mean, yeah. And then did they play on? No, they didn't play anymore. But I mean, he had really good performances. I think they're 6-3 as of now, so they're still a pretty high level team. But yeah, moving on to number 19, we have of the Raptors, the very successful currently Raptors. We have Fred VanVleet. Shout out to him. He's been playing exceptionally well. Going through their game logs, I'm not going to mention their record because I kind of talked about that with Anunoby, but VanVleet in the first game of the week he had 17, 8, and 9. 17, 8, and 9, and then Wednesday they beat the Wizards, and VanVleet had 33, 6, and 3. Good game there for him. And then on Friday, I believe they lost, and VanVleet ended up with 18, 6, and 6, so pretty good stuff there as well. And then I think they played Sunday, if I can remember right. Did they play Sunday? Yeah, they lost to the Nets on Sunday. And VanVleet had 21, 8, and 3, so pretty good week there for VanVleet. He is the top 20 player in the NBA as of right now. Let's move on to number 18, the best and really the only really good player on the 76ers right now. We have Joel Embiid, a pretty big fall off from last year, but you can't complain. Joel Embiid is playing at a pretty high level right now, enough to be an all-star, of course. Let me look at their record. Let me just talk about their record real quick. They're actually playing really good, even without having some of their. Tobias Harris is a big loss, but they are 8-2. They're playing really, really well without not only Ben Simmons but now Tobias Harris with COVID. The Sixers, they played on Monday. They beat the Trailblazers by 10, and Embiid didn't play that game actually, so we're not going to talk about that game. Wednesday, did he play against the Bulls? I think he returned. Yeah. That's when they showed off their city jerseys. He had 18, 7, and 9. Pretty decent for a return. I mean, it's hard to regain momentum. They beat the Pistons by 11, and Embiid had 19, 9, and 3. Another pretty good game there for him. And then Saturday, I believe they beat the Bulls twice, and this time Embiid was playing, and he had 30, 15, and 3, so that's really what got him the nod for this spot. Anyways, at number 17, the best player on the Memphis Grizzlies. He sort of has had a fall off. He used to be top 5 in the league, but it is Ja Morant. He is still playing really well. Shout out to Ja Morant. Let's talk about the Grizzlies' record. How are they doing this year? This is my opportunity as well to kind of check in on some of the NBA teams, how they're doing. They're 5-4, so I mean they're still a pretty good team here in the league, and that's mainly because of Ja Morant. He's playing at a very high level. They beat honestly, a really good Nuggets team by 9, and Ja Morant at 26, 8, and 7. That's a casual stat line for him at this point. He's playing really good. Wednesday, they beat the Nuggets again, this time by 2. So they went 2-0 against the Nuggets this week, and Ja Morant at 18, 6, and 6. Yeah. Friday, they lost to the Wizards by a good margin. Ja Morant only put up 11, 6, and 4. But I think on Sunday he played really good. I don't even think he played for the rest of the week. But yeah, Ja Morant, good stuff for him. Playing pretty well, honestly. At number 16, kind of the second commander-in-chief since LeBron is hurt for the Lakers, we have my boy on the fantasy team, Russell Westbrook. The Lakers played on Tuesday. They only beat the Rockets by 2. But you look at Westbrook's stat line, he had 27, 7, and 9. Who said he couldn't score, honestly? People were doubting that ability of his. I don't know why, but yeah. They lost to the Thunder for the second time this season. But in that game, Russell Westbrook had 27, 5, and 6. So yeah, you can't really put it on the star players there. I know people are trying to, but you can't really do that. And then they went on to lose to the Trailblazers by 15, and Westbrook only had 8, 6, and 9. But I mean, yeah, not too bad. The Lakers are still a 500 team, so they're still not a bad team. They don't have LeBron. They still do have 2 All-Stars, which you can't really give them the benefit of the doubt for that. But yeah. Anyways, at number 15, the best player on the Indiana Pacers. He always really has been for the last few years. It is Domantas Sabonis. Good player here. And it's Domantas Sabonis, and we will look at their record in a little bit, but they beat the Spurs by 13. Sabonis had 24, 6, and 13. Very underrated player. I mean, he's playing at a super high level. Wednesday, they beat the Knicks as well. They kind of went on a win streak this week, I believe. And Sabonis only had 10, 3, and 7, but I mean, they got the job done there. Friday night, I believe they lost to the Trailblazers by 4. But in that game, Sabonis had 15, 12, and 4. So maybe he could have scored a little more there, but good game for him. Sunday, they played the Kings. They won by 3. Sabonis had 17, 10, and 1. So pretty good. They are a pretty bad team, but at least they got Sabonis. You know what I mean? Coming in at number 14, the best player. The next team we're going to talk about is the Dallas Mavericks. The best player on the Dallas Mavericks is Luka Doncic. Obviously, it's been like that since he got drafted. They lost by 15 to the Heat, who are actually pretty damn good this year. And Luka Doncic had 33, 5, and 3, so really good stuff. And I think Sabonis, really the reason he's up here is his defense. Forgot to kind of mention that. And on a back-to-back night, Luka and them won after losing, and Luka had 23, 12, and 7. Yeah, pretty good games for Luka this week overall. Really good, actually, honestly. I don't know why I'm saying pretty good. And he hit a buzzer beater against us, and unfortunately, and he also put up 33, 5, and 9. So Luka Doncic is playing at a very high level. Anyone who doubted him in the first few weeks are starting to eat their words, But anyways, at number 13, the best player right now on the Los Angeles Clippers, the next team we're going to talk about is Paul George. Paul George. He's a top 15 player in the NBA right now. I mean, he's playing really good. They just got done beating the Thunder. And by the way, the Mavericks are above 500. They're doing good. They beat the Thunder by 5, and Paul George had 32 of the 99 points, 7 assists, and 9 rebounds. So really good game there for him. Wednesday, I think they played again. They played the Timberwolves and won by 11. Paul George had 32, 8 and 6. I mean, he's playing really well. Good stuff for him. They beat the Timberwolves by 20 when they played them again, and Paul George had 21, 11 and 6. Like, man, he's playing really, really good. People don't seem to talk about it that much. They went on a win streak this week, and they are now a really good team, honestly. They beat the Hornets by 14, and Paul George ended up having 28 and 9. So, like, he's borderline double-double, triple-double every single game and 20-plus points all week. So, shout out to Paul George. They're playing really well. He's really led his team above 500 this week. So, yeah. Moving on to number 12, kind of the commander-in-chief, surprisingly, for the Charlotte Hornets, we have LaMelo Ball. They have really good players, but, I mean, they just barely couldn't get it done this week. And, they lost to the Cavs on Monday, I believe it was, and LaMelo had 36 and 7. I mean, the Hornets have two really good players, and then the rest of them are just kind of duds. I don't know. I don't know what's really happening with them. They lost to the Warriors by like 20, and shoot. And then LaMelo had 14, 8, and 5. But I think he gets a couple steals. I think he's solid defensively. Let's see here. Next game they lost by 30 to the freaking Kings. They got their butts kicked, and he had 24, 13, and 3. I don't know. Their defense must be terrible. I guess it's just their defense. I have no idea. They just lost to the Clippers. They're a pretty bad team at this point, but they have two star players that they can be proud of, and we will talk about the other one later. But anyways, LaMelo had 21, 7, and 3 in that final game. Moving on to number 11, I would say probably the best player on the Miami Heat. We have Jimmy Butler. Kind of looking at their games here, they beat the Mavericks by 15. Jimmy Butler had 23, 6 and 6, and I'm sure he gets steals every single game. Like, he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. They lost their second game to the Celtics, and I mean, in that game, Jimmy Butler did have 22 and 4, which is good for the team only scoring 78 points. That is more than 25% of the team's scoring was Jimmy Butler. So that's honestly really good if you look at it. They beat the Jazz. They came back after a loss and beat the Jazz by 3. And Jimmy Butler came out and put up 27, 6, and 3. So like, he's playing really well. He's playing all-star level. I mean, at this point, these guys are like damn near MVP candidates that I'm talking about here. And they're 7 and 2, so they're a pretty dominant team in the NBA right now. And Jimmy Butler is the best player on that team. At number 10, the top 10, this guy continues to shock the world of the San Antonio Spurs. The best player on the San Antonio Spurs by far, it is DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is playing extremely well. I mean, they haven't had much success this year, but he's playing like really good. They lost to the Mavericks by 1, and in that game, DeJounte Murray had 23, 8, and 9. And then they played Friday, I believe, and they beat the Magic by 13. I mean, it is the Magic. I think they were I think they only had one win coming in this week or something. No, they had two. But anyways, in the win, DeJounte had 20, 11, and 7. Just a consistent ball player. Nothing else to say about it. They lost to the Thunder by 5, though, which is pretty bad. And in that game, DeJounte had 10, 9, and 8. But, I mean, he's really good at stealing the ball. I mean, but they're a bad team. He's just the best player on it. I mean, he's playing really well, though. So shout out to DeJounte Murray for all he's doing for the Spurs. They're bad, but at least they have him. Anyways, at number 9, we have the best player on the Knicks, and he's probably going to be the best player on the Knicks for a while. We have Julius Randle here. They lost to the Raptors their first game of the week, and Julius Randle had 22, 9, and 5. What else do we got here? They lost to the Pacers as well. They were kind of on a losing streak this week, but Julius Randle had 18, 14, and 3. So can't really complain about him in that game. Friday, they beat the Bucks by 15, which is really good. And Julius Randle had 32, 12, and 4. So great game for Julius. Shout out to him. He's playing pretty good this year. He's playing really good this year. They just got off of a loss to the Cavs by 17, but they are still considered a good NBA team, I would say. Julius Randle had 19, 7, and 7. which maybe he could have scored 25, 30 if they wanted to win that, but you can't ask too much. He's had a very consistent year. Coming in at number 8, the best player on the Hawks, and I'm sure, he's pretty much been like that since draft day. We have Trey Young. Trey Young is playing really good. They beat the Wizards by 7 to start the week, and Trey Young had 26, 6, and 4. And then on Wednesday, they played. Who did they play? They played the Nets and lost by only 9. The Nets are really good. And Trey Young had 21, 10, and 9. So, he's still dropping dimes. He's still getting his stats up. They lost. Then they lost to the Jazz by 18, and Trey Young ended up with 21, 7, and 4. So he's a consistent 20-plus point scorer. And I'm sure he gets steals on the defensive end as well. So they lost to the Suns by 4 as well, but Trey Young had 31, 13, and 2. So maybe it's just him not having any help. I'm not really sure what the problem is. They are considered a bad NBA team. They had a bad week, but I guess he's just not getting any help. But anyways, at number 7, with Jaylen Brown injured, this is the best player on the Boston Celtics, and he's had a pretty standout week. It is my favorite player in the NBA. It is Jason Tatum. The first game of the week, they lost to the Bulls, and Tatum had 23 and 4. And then we beat the Magic by 13 in the second game of the week, and Tatum had 14, 3, and 6. But honestly, it's the Magic. Tatum didn't really have to do much. And then on a back-to-back, they came out and won again against the Miami Heat, and Tatum only had 10, 2, and 8. I don't know. Maybe it's just his defense. I don't know why he's so high up here. They lost to the Mavericks by 3. But, Tatum had 32, 11, and 2. So maybe that's a big one. I would say my Celtics are still a pretty bad team. Definitely for who they have. They're a really bad team for who they have. But, you just got to keep fighting. Anyways, at number 6, this is the best player on the Charlotte Hornets, and honestly, most improved player of the year. We have Miles Bridges. Came out of nowhere. He's shocking the world. They lost their first. We're not going to talk about the record because I already kind of talked about it with LaMelo. But Miles Bridges, 13, 8, and 9 in the first game of the week. Not very good, honestly. Then he comes out against the Warriors. 32, 2, and 9. Of the 92 points he scored, 32. That is more than 30% of their points. He's a big scoring guy this year. Hornets lost to the Kings by 30, but Miles Bridges, 10, 2, and 5. He's also pretty good blocking-wise. He gets on defense, and, he does stuff from there. But anyways, Hornets and Clippers. Miles Bridges had 21, 6, and 4. And this is not just talking about this week. This is talking about overall in the year. And Miles Bridges is borderline top 5. He's definitely an MVP candidate. Anybody in the top 10 is an MVP candidate. Unless if your record's bad, I guess not. But, yeah. Next, at number 5, we have my boy on the fantasy team. Wait, did I say Ja is the best on the Grizzlies? No, Ja is not the best player on the Grizzlies. It is Jonas Valanciunas. It is my boy. I love Jonas Valanciunas, what he's been able to do this year. Playing at a very high level. No, he's on the Pelicans. I'm an idiot. He's the best player on the Pelicans. I forgot he moved teams. He is the best player on the Pelicans. Ja is still the best player on the Grizzlies, but he is the best player on the Pelicans. Looking at the Pelicans, they're still really bad. They lost by 12 to the Suns, but Valanciunas in that game, 23, 14, and 2. And then we move on. The Pelicans, they played the Kings and lost by 13. Valanciunas, 14, 11, and 2. He's a double-double machine. I don't know if anyone has realized that yet. Then we move on to Friday. They lost to the Warriors by freaking 40 points, I believe. And Valanciunas had 20 and 15 and 4 of the 85 points, by the way. So, Valanciunas, he just doesn't have any help. That's his problem. He's still a really good player. I wouldn't say he's even close to winning an MVP with his team record. They are one of the worst NBA teams in the league. No Zion. Some of the games, no Brandon Ingram. Just a bad NBA team. But they can't really help it. Coming in at number 4, another one of my boys from my fantasy team, the best player on the Nets. We have Kevin Durant, the Durantula, the absolute beast of a player. always been just a really good NBA player. I mean, he's not going to change that now. His first game of the week, he had 32, 5, and 7. 32, 5, and 7, really good. The next game of the week, he had 29, 10, and 5. I mean, MVP candidate. This is an example of an MVP candidate. And then the next game, he had 31, 7, and 7. Like, he is unstoppable, guys. I'm telling you, he is unstoppable. That's really all I gotta say. Number 3, we have the best player on the Lakers, currently hurt, but he is still, honestly, an MVP candidate. We have Anthony Davis. Shout out to Anthony Davis. He's had quite a year on him. Like, yeah, I mean, you look at the games he actually played this week. He had 27, 9, and 3 in the first game. And in the game that they lost, even, he had 29, 18, and 5. Can't blame him for their losses. You just can't do that. LeBron is a big part of this team, so maybe him being out, like, take some chemistry off. Anthony Davis, I think he got hurt this game, though. He only had 2 and 3. Yeah, he played 7 minutes, so that's, like, not even bad for 7 minutes of game time. So, yeah, he's hurt right now, but he is still an MVP candidate. I don't care what anybody says. Number 2 of the Nuggets, really the only bright spot on the Nuggets roster. They are a good team, but, to be honest, the only bright spot on the Nuggets roster we have, Jokic. First game of the week, they lost by 12 to the Cavs, but Jokic had 24, 19, and 3. 24 of the 88 points, I believe, they scored. Great player. They lose again. Wait, what? Am I looking at this right? No, I'm not looking at that. That's the wrong week, isn't it? Yeah, that is a wrong week. I'm stupid. Okay. The first game of the week, they lost by 9 to the Grizzlies, and Jokic had 23, 7, and 7. But, I mean, honestly, the games I mentioned before are what solidified him in this spot. Wednesday, I think they played, and they lost the Grizzlies again. Again, like I said with John Morant, they lost back-to-back games. But Jokic at 34, 11, and 5. That's not MVP. I don't know what is. He's back in the MVP rankings, like, honestly. He's not the MVP right now, but he's damn close. He's close. Nuggets beat the Rockets by 1. Jokic puts up 28, 14, and 2. I think he had a buzzer beater this game. I want to say. Oh, he blocked someone to steal a win. That's an MVP play, though. I mean, man. Good week for Jokic. That is not the best player of the week, though. The best player of the week has been the best player of the week 2 times this year of the 3. This is his second time. He wasn't the first week, but last week he was. We are talking about the Greek Freak, the best player in the Bucks, undisputedly. We have Giannis Antetokounmpo. They beat Detroit by 28, and Giannis had 28, 9, and 8. Let's see here. What other games did they play? They really didn't play that many games this week, did they? They lost to the Knicks by 15, I believe, and Giannis put up 25, 4, and 7. Again, really good, but I mean, honestly, this is over the year, so Giannis is just playing the best overall over the year. They lost to the Wizards by 7, and Giannis at 29, 18, and 5. MVP type performances. Pretty bad team in the Bucks. I mean, they have had to deal with the injuries of their second and their third option. I mean, Middleton and Holiday have both experienced injuries, unfortunately. So they are a pretty bad team right now, but hopefully they can pick it back up. I think Holiday is back. I don't think Middleton is, though. And talking about my fantasy, I'm 1 and 2. Let me look. Hold on. We got some time left. Let me look fantasy-wise. I think I'm in 7th of 8th place. Like, I'm honestly not doing so hot. I'm 1 and 2. Yeah. Just not very good. This week I'm playing the 4th best player in the league, and I'm projected to beat him. So that should be good. This should be good, honestly. It'll give me a little push-up. I mean, I have more fantasy points than 2 people above me, which is kind of crazy. I'm 1 and 2. Like, that just shows how good my competition is. Anyways, enough about basketball. I'm going to take a break and kind of relax a little bit. It has been GZTV. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. We will continue Sports Monday later tonight with that football stuff, NFL. That's honestly my favorite stuff to do. I like basketball, though. I do watch a decent amount of basketball, and I will be watching basketball tonight, maybe a little football. So, sports is back, baby. Gotta love it. I'm out. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys at around 10